What is the most important human right to you?
Oh, wow. Most important human right to me. I want to say Black trans rights, because I want to say out of any minority, Black trans people are the most oppressed and discriminated against, because we talk a lot about this in Human Rights Campaign, intersectionality. So it's basically when two of your we wouldn't say minority things, right? But we would say two of our identities intersect and kind of play into each other. And for Black trans people, that is being Black and trans. And there's other things that could play into that, right? There could be my family is Christian, XYZ, right? And so I think the reason I say that is because not only is being trans so discriminated against, it's also the fact that as a person of color, as a Black person, it is so difficult to live in the world. And when you really have those two things playing into each other, it's harmful. It's not harmful to be who you are, but it's the most dangerous, I will say, because people haven't understood that it is real, and being who you are is important. And I think that's just, for me, that is the most human right, the most important human right, because it's two huge discrimination pieces forming together to make one bigger issue than it should be.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you could go back in time, what lesson would you teach your younger self?
I would say to not be afraid of my identity. When I was younger, I really hid who I was as a young LGBT person. I did not love myself, and I didn't understand if it was a phase because people told me it was, or if it was real, or if it was something that was really me. And I wish I could just go back in time and just tell myself, you're fine, everything is going to be okay, and you have people in your life that will be supportive, and to just not be afraid of other people's opinions. Just be yourself and be real and authentic.
Absolutely. You are not alone. You are not alone. There is someone in the world that's going to support you always, always. We should never forget that. We are not alone.
1000%. And, with 7 billion people in the world, there's definitely going to be one.
Yes, exactly. Has anyone ever made you feel different? Has anyone ever made you feel different?
Yes, but also no.
Tell me more. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, being in a public high school, it's different for sure. This is my first time in public school. So last year I did fully virtual due to COVID. And recently I was at a fine arts school and as well as a charter school. So this is my first year at public school, and it's a whole different monster. But it's, I, as a more flamboyant and more androgynous person, it's different to see that for some people. And so people will stare and point and talk and all sorts of things like that. And sure, it does make me feel different. It does make me feel, kind of uncomfortable, because that's just the way, the mind operates. If somebody's saying something about us, we can't just say we're going to ignore it. And that's why I've never really liked the just ignore it, it's nothing, because it isn't just nothing. When we really take those feelings and understand what they are, instead of ignoring them, we don't bottle those up. And we really instead let those out and at the moment, rather than holding that in and bottling it up for so long. I like to say it's like we're a Coke bottle, and we can't let like one if we're bottling this up for so long, we can't let the Mentos drop in because we're going to explode. And so I always say just pour a little at a time. If somebody's saying something about you, don't ignore it. Acknowledge what's going on and really take that and understand, am I XYZ? Da, da, da. And the reason I say yes and no is because I have had the privilege of going to therapy and really starting to talk about my feelings with my therapist as well as my family and friends. But the reason I say yes and no is because I learned how to let those feelings process and then leave. And then I'm starting to feel like I am myself. And, you know, the reason I love, I mean, any sort of critique or anything someone says, I think that's the reason I love it so much, is because as hateful as somebody can be, I can comprehend those emotions, let it go. And then I kind of twist that, I kind of reverse psychology it in a way. I say, yeah, I am different and nobody's going to be like me because I stand out. And I think that's the best thing that I've learned, is kind of changing that mindset of this is going to make me feel sad, and instead this is going to make me feel stronger. And the best thing I ever learned in therapy was we get to choose how we feel, and we get to choose how we start our day. If we start off sad, it's going to end sad. If we start off happy, it's going to end happy, because we control our emotions, we control our body, and we really get to make those decisions for ourselves. We can't let other people make those decisions for us. And so that's the biggest thing why I say yes and no.
Yes, absolutely. Your recent song Anxiety is about young people struggle with anxiety and depression. Was it difficult to write a song?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. In a way, yes. But also in a way, no, because I've been struggling with anxiety since I was about 11 or 12. And I didn't really know what it was until like 12 or 13 years old. But I remember I wrote it on my ukulele and I just started playing these chords, and I started playing these chords and I just started singing Anxiety. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I used to do this thing where I would record myself like on voice memos when I was in the shower, because I always had some sort of idea in the shower.
Yeah,
that's how I came up. And that's where I came up with my first original song, King. But I decided, hey, I'm gonna just try something. So I voice recorded myself, and I came up with that whole chorus in the shower, which was crazy. It was just like crazy. And the Anxiety, oh, why do you make me cry? It do, but I still bloom. Like that, I remember hearing that on my voice recording and saying, that is the message I'm trying to portray. Kind of, I'm not trying to say anxiety should hold us back. We have to grow from it, and we should take that and grow from it and bloom from it. And so writing it was really, it was fun. It was real, you know, as silly as some of the lyrics do sound, like, you know, scrolling through my feed, it's real. Like everybody seems happy. Like all of that was real. All of that is what I was experiencing, and still am experiencing sometimes with anxiety. You know, at night, it's late and I'm scrolling through my Instagram feed or my Twitter feed, and everybody's smiling and seems happy, and how we fake those emotions as young people, because we really want to portray ourselves as being happy when we're not happy. And I think that plays into our anxiety. Like, am I supposed to be like that? Am I supposed to be like this person or this person, this person? So it was real, and it was an honest portrayal of my experience with anxiety. So I wrote that when I was 13 years old, and finally it came out when I was 15.
Yeah, Good. I really love that song. I was listening to it today because I think the message is really powerful. It's really strong, and we all need it. And I
Thank
think
you.
that I would stay here to listen to you like all day because you have got so many things to share with us. I think you experienced a lot. And look at you now. I mean, you are strong, you are like positive, and you want to help others. And this is really amazing.